We've got some great songs on this program. I've listened to a couple of them already and had a couple of good laughs, some good times. So anyway, Vinny, go ahead and start with SmackDown as I fight to recover here.
SmackDown opened with Big Dave Batista coming out for a promo. He explained that he had a street fight tonight with Rey Mysterio. He said he did not ask for this match. In fact, Rey was the one who demanded the street fight. He said Rey did not even deserve to be in this match. He did not deserve to be in the same ring with Dave. But he was going to go through with this anyway. Then he noted that since he had started his campaign to reclaim the title, he had been getting booed an awful lot. But he didn't care. He said, this is not about you. This is about me. He said this is about him being who he was born to be. He didn't need Evolution. They needed him. So he used them and gained the knowledge and experience he needed, and he was on his way. Similarly, he said he didn't need Rey. Rey needed him to be his big brother and protect him and get him out of trouble. And finally, he said he never needed the fans. And they all booed, and he said he never heard them when they cheered for him, and he doesn't hear them now when they boo. And all I could think was, basically what he said was, I didn't care when you liked me, and I don't care now that you don't. And all I could think was, how many dozens of women has he given this speech to in his life? So then he said, he asked them to put a spotlight on him, and he said this is to make a point, that it was all about him and not about the fans anymore. He said he was there to make money and win titles. Everything about him screams world champion, he said. The way he looks, the way he talks, the way he dresses, the way he acts. And all I could think was, you are so correct. You're 100% right there.
I thought this was written deliberately to send a message to CM Punk, for example.
It's entirely possible.
The way I walk, the way I talk, the way I look, the way I dress, my ring dominance, everything.
That's entirely possible. But that either way, he was correct about himself. And then finally, he explained The Undertaker was not the dominant force people made him out to be. Dave had left him laying 2 weeks in a row. He had seen fear in his eyes 2 weeks in a row, and he vowed to win the title at the pay-per-view, and his music played, and he posed. This was a fucking great promo. This is Dave Batista at his best. I believe you called this the promo of his career. I can't argue with you. He basically dumped the fans.
It was so great because
the
fans have been cheering Dave for quite a while now. Mm-hmm. And he came out and he cut a promo, and, you know, some of it was a little bit cheap, obviously, you know, telling the fans they suck, that sort of thing. But in the end, when it was over, they did not like this guy at all.
Right.
Success.
Yes, it was a very long segment, but a very successful one. It was followed by CM Punk and Luke Gallows cutting a promo, and as much as I love that Dave promo, it was long, and I did not need another promo right away.
No, this was a mistake. I noticed this immediately. Big-ass long promo with Dave. Next thing you see is Punk and Gallows, and then Punk starts talking.
Yes.
And I thought, am I watching Impact here? Why is there all this talking and no action?
As it turns out, Impact was not on until Monday night.
No.
So they plugged Jeff Hardy's DVD. Punk said horrible parents were buying it for Christmas presents. Said they may as well be stuffing their children's stockings with hallucinogenic magic mushrooms. He said the DVD will make their children hallucinate, make them think they can fly and do the impossible.
Bad line.
Which I did not make that connection until you pointed it out. I suspect that's another case of them just not thinking.
No, I don't think they did this on purpose, but there was a few months ago, there was a child who jumped out of a window, and the parents, I guess, said he'd been watching a Jeff Hardy DVD, and they claimed he had been attempting a senton bomb. Now, I actually don't buy that story because, I don't know. I mean, I don't have my own kids, but I coach kids, and I'm around kids a lot. Kids aren't not that stupid.
I was a kid. I watched not only wrestling, but also cartoons and movies, and a bunch of guys did a bunch of things I couldn't do. I never tried jumping out of a window or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine the kid maybe thinking something, and I'm going to jump out this window or whatever, but I don't see him thinking, I'm going to do a senton out this window. But regardless, it was a sad story, and it was a bad line here, but again, I don't think that they did it on purpose.
So Punk continued, he said, in reality, you and your child will watch this DVD. The only thing it will make you is a washed-up, good-for-nothing, unemployed junkie. And then they stomped the DVD and destroyed it.
Is that a problem with you? Did you watch the Jeff Hardy DVD?
No, what makes you think I did that?
No, I was just...
Do I seem, like I say, unemployed?
Well, the unemployed, strung-out junkie. I don't know what you're doing in your spare time, Vinny, but you never know.
Washed-up, good-for-nothing, unemployed junkie. I don't think I'm really a junkie.
You did mention, I was just listening to a show the other day, and you mentioned... You were comparing yourself to Rush Limbaugh and
I was.
You were fat
I am
and a pill
not
addict.
really addicted to pain pills, everyone.
Oh, Jesus, Vinny, here we go.
I was reaching for anything I may have in common with Rush Limbaugh. He has a history of drug abuse. Rumor has it I have experimented a few times. I'm fine. So anyway, speaking of drugs, CM Punk and Jake Gallows wrestled the Truth Matt Hardy.
This show is sinking.
And Truth noted that Matt Hardy had a bag of magic. And this bag of magic was a giant pile of Jeff Hardy DVDs. He began passing them out to the fans as Truth rapped. And the highlight of this was actually CM Punk, who, first of all, when Truth asked what's up, and Punk shouted, "Straight edge!" And then as they started passing out DVDs, Punk was making demands to the fans saying, "Do not accept this DVD." And there was some sort of screw-up in my DVR, and I missed something. And fortunately, they started replay, and it was Truth laying out CM Punk with the always classic microphone shot to the head.
Yeah.
Good times.
Let me get going here. The Truth, the teacher, was rattling off all of these injuries that Matt had suffered in this TLC match. We had a four-way twist of fate. Gallows hit the blind tag, booted him in the face, reverse full Nelson bomb for the pin. The gas mask for the pin. This was a good little match right here.
I liked when Stryker said that Punk and Luke were a great team, and Gresham says they've never teamed together before. It's their first match.
Graphic of Drew and Morrison squaring off, and I just looked at them and I was like, these guys look exactly the same. Welcome to the hiring process of WWE. We had Vicky and Eric having a argument backstage, and she suggested to Teddy that Eric go to the ring immediately and compete. And anyway, it wasn't immediate, so I don't know what happened there. We had a meeting with Kane and Mike Knox. Remember that meeting with Heidenreich and Snitsky where they breathed heavy?
Yeah.
Not a lot of heavy breathing in this one, but it was sufficiently creepy. Yep. As Knox, doing the Brody gimmick, I guess, which is, I apologize to Brody in saying that, but said that he enjoyed fighting Kane, and it was a worthwhile experience, and he wanted to do it again. And Kane said, listen, the two of us are nothing alike. I'm the only monster on Smackdown, but I can agree that I enjoyed fighting you as well and beating you. And he grabbed him by the throat, and Knox got all creepy and started talking about how oxygen deprivation could lead to feelings of great pleasure throughout the body. And this creeped out Kane.
Kane was skeeved, and he walked away.
Yeah.
That was funny. I also like, the highlight of this for me was the very beginning when Kane was walking backstage to his music. Just walking around with his song playing.
How about I put you in a choke right now, Vinny?
I'm sorry?
How about I go over there and put you in a choke?
I don't see what that would accomplish.
Well, your oxygen is leaving. You could tell me if there are feelings of great pleasure accompanying it.
I guess we'll never know.
An experiment.
The flaw in this plan is I think you would kill me.
I wouldn't kill you.
Given the option, I think you would kill me.
What option? What are the two options? Killing you or not?
Letting go of the choke.
Vinny, we're on the air. What sense would it make for me to kill you with this being recorded?
What better opportunity than me handing you my neck?
I mean, I could edit it out.
I suppose you could.
On the Christmas show, I'm gonna choke you.
No, you're not.
You'll be drunk, believe me. We'll make this work. We'll make this work, Vinny. I won't kill you, I promise. Vinny, how many years have you been watching UFC? How many guys have you seen?
There's a difference. There's a key difference. You want me dead.
That's not true.
I think it is.
No, who'd I do this show with if you were dead?
Craig.
He's going to drive out here every night?
Dan, I don't know. See?
I was going to say, you better stop giving suggestions, Vince. Jericho and Escobar had a match.
Eric's really bad.
Yeah, he really is.
It's kind of not his fault because they're just throwing him out there. He's doing his best, I'm sure, and he shouldn't be on TV. It's not his fault he's on TV, but God, he's bad.
So Vicky came out and said she forgot to announce it was a handicap match. Big Show was the partner. So he came out, and 2 weeks after knee surgery, I never saw him hit the ropes faster than he did right here for a shoulder tackle. He killed young Eric, and then Jericho put him in the walls for the submission. And again, two heavies putting the hurting on young Eric. And Jericho did a promo afterwards saying they were going to do the same thing on Sunday and put an end to DX. And good build for the pay-per-view. Got the belts over. And, yeah, good stuff.
It was great because Eric had just cut Jericho off, and Vicky came out and added Big Show to the match. And Big Show was moseying down to the ring, and Eric, to his credit, realized my only chance is to beat Jericho now. I started going for small packages and stuff, and, of course, did not get it, and then he was killed. So that part was fun.
Drew McIntyre came out for a promo, and I really like Drew McIntyre in the ring. I think he's very solid, given his level of experience. Promos? Not a fan. He comes off as a guy who, they said, cut a promo and be mean. And so he scowls, and he does a deeper voice, and he kind of hisses a little, and they bore me. So he came out and he did this promo, and then Morrison came out in Braveheart gear, actually. And he actually had a better accent than Triple H did when he attempted to do a Braveheart spoof many years ago for WrestleMania.
I recall that. You are correct.
God damn, Hunter was awful.
He was very horrible.
Abysmal.
He is not Scottish in any way.
No. So I'm sure the folks from Scotland that are listening right now are appalled that I'm saying this was a pretty good accent, but go back and listen to Triple H, and then you'll forgive me. But it was fine, and he had a sword, which led to the highlight of Smackdown, which is where him and Drew got head-to-head, and the sword was between them, and something happened, and Morrison cut open his eyebrow with the fucking sword.
Yeah.
What?
I was watching that. I was like,
they gave him a real sharp sword?
That's amazing thing number one. They did this with a shoot sword. Amazing thing number two is that John Morrison somehow managed to take this sword and actually cut his eye open.
Yeah.
I watched that and I thought, he's bleeding. That's right. And it's a small vertical slash right where the sword would have gone. I couldn't decide who was dumber there. But who
were the options? Obviously it was Morrison.
They were also stupid for using a real sword. They couldn't find a toy sword or something to give him.
Well, actually, no. Where are you going to find a toy?
Well, they found a real one.
I could go to the mall. I could go to the mall right now, and they've got that geek store that has like armor in it. You know that store I'm talking about?
The House of Cutlery.
Yeah. And I guarantee I could buy a legit
Excalibur gifts.
4-foot sword.
Or you go to Toys R Us and get one for 10% of the cost.
Come on, you guys, I don't know.
So regardless, he cut himself open with a sword. Fortunately, it was not that bad.
People aren't believing me, by the way, that I could go to the mall and buy a sword, but it's true.
I know this. Yes, no, the store's there.
Yeah,
I'm sure every mall has one. And
actually, I've never seen another store that carried swords.
I was going to say every mall has one of those, but I lived in the South Puget Sound area. There's a lot of ghetto malls down there. They don't have the big fancy broadswords anymore, but you can get several dozen really cheap samurai knockoff swords. So they're out there. Anywho, so Morrison made fun of him for a while for being Scottish. Drew dared him to fight and put down the sword, and so Morrison did, and so Drew bailed, and that was that. It was okay. It was not terrible. I have seen many worse promos. It did not rock my world. Well, especially the McIntyre part. Morrison was pretty funny.
Oh, shut up.
Anyway.
Kane and Mike Knox. I tolerated this match last week. This week I could not handle it. It was thankfully short. It was not horrible. The key to the match was afterwards, after he'd beaten him, Kane gave a confused look to Mike Knox, and I think he's slowly beginning to respect the man, and they will end up a team. That's my prediction.
I suppose. Earlier we noted that Knox's line about oxygen deprivation leading to euphoria, and referencing that, Matt Stryker brought up both David Carradine and Michael Hutchins, officially making this the creepiest feud of all time.
Maria and Mickey against Michelle and Layla. Maria's hair. At least it was better on Raw. Anyway, Mickey got a hot tag, ran wild, ran Layla into Michelle, rolled Layla up for the pin. Good match. Sets up the title shot on Sunday. I didn't have a problem with it.
It was very, very short.
Dave and Ray in a street fight. They brawled all over the place, and Ray ran wild. And anyway, this was the match where the teacher first started talking about milk
and protein.
He said that milk is good for strong bones. Milk had protein in it, and given Batista's size, he'd have taken much more protein than your average man, and therefore stood a reason that he had thicker bone in his head, which would protect him from chair shots. He really said this.
He said that, yeah.
Almost word for word.
I wrote it down. My notes are very close to yours, and my notes are then followed by the sentence in all caps, what kind of teacher are you?
Well, health.
Not anatomy, I hope.
Ray made a comeback, did his 619 springboard splash, place went ape shit. Dave kicked out. They were not happy. He started destroying him with chair shots to the leg and back, and then Dave speared him out of nowhere, spine buster, and a chair shot to the head for the pin. And Ray got his hands up, but Batista's a big, strong fucking man, and he swung that sword like a baseball bat, and that looked like it sucked. So Dave put the chair on his neck afterwards, went to Pillmanize him, and Undertaker's dong made the save, and he hit the ring, stomped a mud hole in Dave, and gave him a chair shot, or was about to, and Dave escaped to the back, and yeah, it was a good show. was a good main event. It was fun stuff and a better go-home show than usual for SmackDown.
The main event was a fine example, really, of just pro wrestling, and more specifically, pro wrestling booking. I had listened to the Jim Cornette show a couple hours before watching SmackDown, and he was talking about how you set up a personal difference between someone to make people want to watch the fight. Then you have the fight, and you have a clean finish. And that's what happened here. There was a personal difference between Dave and Ray. They had a fight. It was fun, especially watching Dave sell for Ray. That's always great. And then there was a simple, clean finish, given the match they were under, where Dave hit one chair shot, and that was all he needed to win. And so that not only settled things tonight, but it also built to the chairs match they were having in 2 days. Then when he went to do something even more mean, because now he was crossing the line, he'd beaten the man fair and square, but now that the man was already down, he was going to take advantage of that and then take him out. That's dirty pool right there. So here's Undertaker to make the save. Undertaker laid a severe whooping on Dave. Looked at just an awesome ass kicking there in the corner, and was going to hit him with a chair shot, and then Dave bailed, so you still had to pay to see Dave get a chair shot. It was all so simple, and it all made me very, very happy.